Attention, attention, attention. Oh, the connected ones. We are live again here on this platform called YouTube, part of the network of connection, which is a big tool for us to understand how we work because everything is connected. Everything is connected. Well, dear human beings from wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Miriam Cunha. If you don't know me yet, I live in Kelowna, Canada, and I created this channel here to share things about spirituality, metaphysics, esoteric knowledge, occult, and tools to make us be the best of ourselves, become the best of ourselves, open our consciousness, rise our vibrations. And I also interview beautiful, amazing, wise guests. And I recently have started part of my channel in Spanish, which goes live on Thursdays afternoon. And if you speak Spanish or if you want to practice Spanish, tune in to my channel and search for the Spanish playlist. Yeah, I've been dividing the videos into playlists, and one of the playlists is the Spanish one. So tonight I chose this appealing title for the video. Are you vampirized or are you a vampire? I thought that was very appropriate because we are very close to the celebrations of Halloween, and the Death Day, because in Mexico and other countries, actually, they celebrate El Dia de los Muertos, which is the Death Day when they honor dead people, people who have passed. And I think it's all related to why would those two things be celebrated right in like 2 days from each other, right? Even in Brazil, we have Dia dos Finados. Finado means people who have passed. And that is, I can't remember if it's November 1st or 2nd. So this October 31st, November 1st, November 2nd, the energies of those days there is always gearing towards transformation, because that, as we have conceptualized it, doesn't really exist. What it is a radical transformation. Always when there is a radical transformation, something is left behind in order for a new thing to arise. And there is no fear there. There shouldn't be fear. There shouldn't be fear. And that's why I wanted to talk about vampires. First of all, everything is energy. And as we approach this energy vibration change of our planet, we have been able to capture energy forms that we didn't used to see before. Take a look at my background here. This is a picture I took of a lake. We went fishing there, and my camera, my cell phone camera, has been capturing this amazing light. Lights. It's a rainbow. It's a reflection of the sun, but it's creating a rainbow, and there is no rain there. So it's the our cameras and our eyes are capturing these amazing energies that we were not able to see before. And this is a sign of the changes of our planet and our changes. So clarifying that everything is energy, including ourselves. We are energy collectors, catchers of energy. And until the end of this year, 2020, the the people that have been catching energy in mean ways. Hi, mom. Oi, mãe. the My mom is my fan number one. She's always watching live, and she said hi. So just because I interrupted the thoughts, if you have any question, I'm able to read your questions, and I might be able to answer if it's something I know. Okay. So feel free to type a question on the chat area on YouTube. All right, so going back to 2020, we're going through this amazing, big, energetic transition with the earth, and our bodies, which are made of the earth, are feeling it. And this energy has been, I would say, let's backtrack. Okay, so what is a vampire? A vampire, I laugh because there is the concept of that story of the vampire that sucks blood and all that stuff, which is another thing. But we're talking about energy vampires that we see every day, even when we look at the mirror, because we're all vampires. And that's the answer to the question: are you a vampire or are you being vampirized? Both, because until now, we haven't most of humanity hasn't been connecting with the big source of energy inside of them, and have been playing dramas and games to be capturing energy from others in one way or another. And our system has created all these mechanisms of sucking energy from us, and then we get into this game and keep sucking energy and keep getting sucked, right? And that happens. I will give you some examples because those happens on very regular daily things that we don't even think about, but that's what it is. So talking about this kind of uh, energy exchange that we could call vampirism. The one that we actually could really call vampirism would be when the energy is being sucked from you from a person or an entity or a system that knows, is conscious about what they're doing. Because there are this kind of people, there are this kind of beings, and there are this kind of situations when they know that they are doing that in purpose to suck your energy. But most of us are unconscious about that, independently of being unconscious or conscious about what we're doing or you're doing. If you're grabbing energy from other people using mechanisms that I will explain soon, in order of coming from a place of selfishness, taking advantage of the other person, those kind of people are gonna be um, losing a lot of energy until the end of the year. And that is a natural thing. So let me repeat that because that's where I wanted to get. Until the end of the year, this year, these vampires of energy are losing all their energy. Why? Because they have been grabbing energy that is not theirs. They have been stealing energy. Therefore, with what I'm going to explain next, pay attention on your own mechanisms of energy exchange so that you work on yourself to connect with your own source of energy instead of stealing energy from others or letting others steal your energy. All right. So, the only way that you can actually let your energy to be stolen It's when you open up to be drained. Therefore, if you set your boundaries, if you say the big, small word that is so difficult for many of us to say, that it's no, that's enough to actually cut any energy sucking from your system. It's so simple. So we don't really need to be afraid of vampires, because there is a universal law that any being in this universe has to obey, because it comes from the higher, above creator of all things. And this law is the law of consentment. You can name it as you want, but it's a law that requires that you consent to something before it's being done to you. And the beings that know what they're doing by sucking the energy of people on different ways, especially the system we live in, they know that they have to obey to this law, and they create mechanisms to trick us into consenting them to suck our energy. Therefore, we have all these situations that we attract to ourselves, like relationships, work, religions, groups of any kind, the system itself of the planet, the whole monetary system, the corporations, etc., that have been created all, all in this programming of energy exchange that is not fair, is not balanced. It's always sucking more from one than the other. It's not balanced. And that's why there's so much suffering and so many people hungry on a planet that has everything. So many people suffering when there is so much beauty to be shared. You know, all of these things don't make sense, but it is because the system has been programmed to have all these energy sucking mechanisms. And as I was saying before, all we need to do is say no, especially now because we are transitioning into a new frequency to our planet. Although some of us sometimes have this questioning, we fall into this negativity of like, oh, maybe I am being played off and nothing of this is going to happen. But come on, you can go inside yourself and see things and know it, knowing it's bigger than actually uh, grasping the words from other people, even from me. You know, like I can be telling you all of these things, but if you don't know it inside, you might be questioning if it's true or if it's not. So go inside of you and look for yourself and see the signs outside. See these beautiful lights we're capturing. The sky changes, the earth changes, people are changing, lots of people are waking up. It's beautiful. So where should we focus our energy right now is into working our mechanisms to let go of the old programming of the vampire and the vampirized. I always laugh about these words because I find them funny. And actually, there's nothing better than actually laugh about things that are negative because with laughing, you break down with the seriousness and the fear. Anyway, I think I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna share a story with you because it's related to that, breaking down with the fear of the appearance of things and uh, entities that appear to be killers and vampires and all of that. And I'm not saying they don't exist, but I'm just saying that you can demystify that. And the story I want to share is that when my son was little, he was a child. I didn't really let him watch horror movies or things like that, but you cannot control what children do outside, right? So they go to a friend's home and then they watch something that impresses their mind, and that's what happened with him. Him and his friends watched that movie called Chucky, that little doll, evil doll that goes killing people. And he came home and he couldn't sleep for a couple of nights. Finally, he confessed he watched that movie, and that's why he couldn't sleep, because he was thinking about the doll killing, right? So I said, okay, let's watch this movie together and let's see what's real about that. So I sat to watch this movie, which is actually something I was forced to do because I don't like watching those movies because you're getting the energy. But I did it in a way that we sat there prepared to laugh about all the imperfection of the movies that showed that the whole thing was faked, and it was made up to make you feel fear, which is most of what the system does to us here. All you watch on TV, the news, they are all made up, programmed to make you set in fear and anger and disappointment and hopeless. And when you focus on that, you're just letting your energy be drained. So we sat there and I'm like, oh, look at this. It's a doll. You can see that they put ketchup. It's not even blood, you know. So we just demystified the whole horror movie, which horror movies, by the way, are made for that. Just like the Halloween idea of dressing up like those monsters that are going to suck your energy and your blood. This whole thing is made up to suck your energy. And I'm not saying don't celebrate Halloween, but if you're conscious about that, you can have a good time dressing up with a beautiful, positive costume. So I think I am going to dress up as a rainbow, a big rainbow of energy. And actually, that is a way that you can use to protect yourself from energy sucking. Because some of the mechanisms of energy sucking from other people are like, for example, you meet a friend, and then this friend comes like, oh, I've had a horrible week and this happened and that, and you are compassionate and you're listening, but this person is only complaining all the time about everything, every little thing that happened. And because this person did this to me, poor me, this person, usually when they're sucking your energy, they don't listen. They don't stop to listen. There's no two ways conversation. It's on one way. You have to stop and listen. And this person is just on everything on you, and then capturing all your energy. They might not be conscious about what they're doing, but after that one-way conversation, you're drained, you're tired, you want to go to sleep, or you're feeling pain or a headache, and all of those are signs of having had your energy sucked, because that person doesn't know how to connect with the inner source of energy, the infinite inner source of energy, and has this need of projecting that into others and grabbing their energy. So what everybody should do is try to find their inner source of energy so we can exchange balanced energy, harmony energy, happiness energy, right? So that is an example. Other examples are let's say, when people are demanding things from you at work, in meaning mean ways. Um, well, there are lots of work situations that drag your energy, and if you feel exhausted, hi Laura, hola Laura. So if you feel exhausted every day you come back from work, and it's not a physical demanding work, but it's uh, some kind of work that you're sitting there and you should not be so drained, but you're always drained. There must be some kind of mechanism. So start paying attention. And let's see, other ones, relationships. A relationship you have with someone that you share every day and every night should be a balanced, comprehensive, harmonic relationship, at least, I would say, 80% of the time. Because otherwise, you end up sick. Because the more you get your energy drained day by day, month by month, year by year, your system starts to unbalance and you start to manifest the imbalance on your body. And most of the time is it's the energy that is not flowing correctly and is being sucked to the wrong from the wrong mechanisms. Let's put an example, because I've been in an abusive relationship for many years, and I was always drained. And then, but I was always looking for doing something to myself to make me better and to feel better. So I was always in meditation classes, yoga classes, you name it, acupuncture. I was taking courses of energy healing and metaphysics. I was always on that, and I would feel great when I was doing those things. Then I would go back home, and then all that drama mechanism would start again, because you're this, because you did this, and my energy would that's what happened. Until one time I was taking some sessions of acupuncture, and I was feeling so good when those needles were there on the right points. It was like a blissful state of peace for an hour. Then I would get home and I'm feeling so good for one day. And then the next day I was half good. And the third day I was like drained again. And I would go back to the acupuncture session and feel. So I was creating a sick cycle of being drained. I wasn't really healing the cause. Right. So I realized that I had to do something about what was causing all of that. And what I had to do was to stand on my power and say, no, that's enough. And you are not going to do that to me anymore. That's all I had to do. But that was so difficult because I was so into this, let's say, so into this unbalanced cycle that I was like addicted to that cycle of draining energy, and you become part of that cycle. And that's how humanity is right now. We're so addicted to how the system is being, until now, the system we've known, right? We go to work, well, we have to go to work from 8 to 4, whatever time you go, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, and then you get your money. And most of people barely make it buying food and paying bills, and then there goes most of the time of your life, and then you sleep the other 8 hours, and then you have a few hours left for yourself, and then you sit and watch TV and get the rest of your energy sucked. I'm sorry. I've been through that, so I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing about the reality we've been programmed to go through. But once you start realizing that you have the power to change that, you and only you can change that for yourself. There are facilitators that help on the way. There are many tools you can use, but ultimately, you and only you can stop being vampirized or being the vampire. Because pay attention, you got to pay attention. If you are being the vampire too, let me put the heat down because it's a little bit too hot. It's been very cold this last couple of days here in Kelowna. And I have my heater on, but it was too hot. Maybe I'm getting too excited, getting too much energy. Oh, talking about energy, all right. So when you think about people that start mastering knowledge and mastering their own being, you noticed that many masters start to get recluded. They don't appreciate anymore so much going out to parties or being around too many people, and they appreciate being alone. Sometimes we think that they are introverted, but it's just this person is so sensitive with the energy exchange that they prefer to be alone than to be sucked into the mechanisms of the system. So they start getting more of more alone. They get to be a loner. Like it is a mechanism. But the big masters we had here, like Jesus, like Buddha, like I don't know, there have been many big masters on earth. Those big masters have mastered the big source of energy. And when you are on their presence, the energy is so big, they don't need to reclude themselves because the energy is pouring like a waterfall. And they don't mind donating this energy because that's their service. And that is beautiful too. It is very beautiful. So there are all these stages that we will reach one time sooner or later because we're all on journeys of learning and accepting missions from the universe. Right now, we're in a mission of learning what's going on here on Earth, and I feel that my mission has been helping. I don't want to talk from ego. Is not. I don't want to be one of those like, oh, because I did this change on earth because I could tap into this. And okay, you did it. Fine. You don't need to brag about it, but there are many of us working on this. But talking about like my particular mission, I feel that is being saved mostly for this period of time that started this year. Because I've been talking about this moment since I was a teenager. And can you imagine how many people comprehended or understood what I was talking about when I was a teenager? I was secluded. What is this girl talking about? Why isn't she talking about the most famous rock and roll band that is playing concert this week? I wanted to convince everybody that extraterrestrials existed. And now, finally, people are opening up for that. It's been so many years. But anyway, for this moment that we're going through might seem chaotic, and some people are tapping into fear because they're seeing the system they have been addicted to until now tumbling down. But remember that if we want a fair system, a more harmonic system, we need to let some things go. You don't build a brand new house on top of an older house. You have to destroy that older house until the last brick and then build a brand new one on top of it. And that's kind of the experience we're going through. This energy is going to happen until March next year. The adjustment. We're going through this adjustment. And it is like if we're moving from one house to another and everything is packed, although moving from one house to another can happen in a week, but this move from Earth to the new Earth doesn't happen in a week. It's been happening already for years, and we're in the peak of it, but it's still going to take months. And to rebuild the Earth is going to take years. It's going to take years, but it's nothing to fear about. Let's go back to the energy, to the vampires. Let's see. I have some notes I took here. See if I'm missing something, because there was so much to talk about. I had to write some notes here. So we talked about okay, another example that I didn't mention of sucking energy, something you don't think about. You have a child, and then the child is doing something you don't want the child to do, and you're the parent, and you're like, stop it. You have to stop the child. As soon as you say, stop doing that, you are sucking the energy of the child, because the child, even though was doing something he wasn't supposed to do, he was very focused on doing that something. And at the moment that there is an energy that comes and says, stop doing that, it's already sucking the energy. So maybe there is a way of changing that mechanism, and maybe hugging the child, giving a kiss, and showing something else for the kid to do that it's not damaging anything. Anyway, I wanted you to be conscious that there are little mechanisms of sucking energy, and that we're always exchanging energy, because we are catalysts of energy. We're collectors and catchers of energy. It's just that we need to do that in balance from the heart, and not from the ego and from a selfish place, or from the mind. All right. Let's see. Oh, another example here. This is a good one. That applies to social media. And I'm part of that too. That's what this title I put on the video, to call your attention today. So every post on social media, it's an attempt to call the attention of someone to an exchange of energy. And we're addicted to that process. We post something and it's like, let's see if somebody watches, and it comments and likes or dislikes. And then sometimes there are bad comments, and then you start this crooked exchange of energy. And when the crooked exchange of energy starts happening, don't feed on it, because then you are agreeing to a contract of being sucked into that negative energy. Pay attention. And the same thing happens with TV. They put all this, and the media and the newspapers. The headlines are something else. You read the headline, and then you read the article, and it was nothing like the headline. And then it puts you like, oh, this is happening. Oh my God. Oh boy. All right. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's give solutions for the grabbing energy situation. Okay. Let's see. Solutions. Okay, so the one I already was saying. So if you're on social media and you post something that somebody disagrees with you and comes with low vibes, cursing you, whatever, say something beautiful. The other day, somebody in a group posted something. They made a post that said, does anybody feel that something big is dying. And I read that, I was like, oh, holy smokes. Then I posted there, I feel that something big is being born. And that was a way of actually stopping the vampiristic vampire energy, like sucking the people, like, listen, I feel like something big is dying. Well, something is dying all the time, and there is always somebody dying, but death is not the end, because the energy always gets transformed. Remember that principle of the universe is that nothing is new, everything is always being transformed. Energy is always moving and transforming. Death is just the link in between an old type of energy and a new type of energy. And we got to grasp this very deeply to get rid of the fear of dying. That is very, very important now, because many people are going to leave their bodies. And that's not something to fear, it's something to understand and let flow of the energy. Some bodies are not going to take all the transition. We, as people who are very sensitive to the changes right now, to the Schumann resonance of the earth, to the magnetic field of the earth, and all the attacks that are being done to the earth, we have been feeling a lot of body pain and dizziness and headaches and fever, you name it. There are all kinds of reactions of the body to these changes of energy the earth is going through. But it's not something to fear about. And that's why, in a bigger spectrum of things beyond the conspiracy of things about what put us inside of our homes this year, besides the intentions of these controllers, there is a bigger picture of that gave us all the opportunity to reclude ourselves from the vampiric system, and to stop watching movies that were not being made, that were sucking our energy, music that was sucking our energy, to stop going to parties. And not everybody, but I think in a bigger picture of the earth, most of us had to stay in. And that was a big opportunity to go in our own house and find out the truth about ourselves, reconnect with our energy field, and allow for this transformation to happen from inside out. So looking at it from a bigger spectrum, that has been, and it will be yet, because there is more coming, opportunities for us to go inside. All right, take note of that. Okay, so yeah, I had a note about that. And it's time to let go of things that don't serve, people that are not to be part of our lives anymore. And that is happening a lot. So we feel some sort of separation happening. And sometimes we tend to feel sad that this person is not part of our lives anymore. Why are they against me just because I think differently? But that is part of this separation of vibrational levels, and it's all about choices. You cannot change what the other person has chosen to be part of. You can only change you. And if you chose to see things in a bigger spectrum, you chose to change for a better you, and another person cannot cope with that state of happiness you are showing, or a state of freedom you're showing, and decides to go away from your life, it's their decision. And we have to free them. We have to free ourselves too. All right. Okay, what else? Really, and that it's in relation to relationships, to work. Many people were let go of their works because it didn't serve them anymore in a bigger, higher dimension. They many times I went through situations that I felt like, oh, why is this happening to me? And my son is very wise. He's always like, why are you putting yourself in a victim place? You shouldn't be victim. No, thank you for reminding me. Okay, so sometimes you lose a job or you lose a client, and then if you think about how that relationship with that client was someone that was just sucking your energy, wouldn't listen to you, and it was all these demands out of your time and energy that was like really, really so big that you were always drained and tired. And then out of a sudden, you don't have that job anymore. And you feel like, oh, why is it that I don't have that job? Oh, it's good. You're open for something new and better for you because the new earth is going to be better. All these thriving new opportunities are about to open to all of us. Actually, many people that I have heard have been already opening up to amazing things on this new vibration of earth. All right. Yeah, I think I've touched the biggest part of things. Okay. I forgot about this one here. Um, we all want energy all the time, right? So the mechanisms that I was talking about before that we get into uh, groups, and especially religions and other kinds of groups. Now we connect with when we're asking the angels, when we're asking our guardians, when we're asking the saints, when we're asking God for something. In a certain way, we are acting like vampires, asking for something. When you can just tap into your higher dimensions of understanding and imagining and feeling that thing happening already. So you don't really need to ask. You just imagine it happening, feel it, taste it, touch it, see it. Use all your four and your fifth sense, all your senses to make it happen for you. Robert, Halloween is coming. Should I watch out for? You probably, I don't know if you were listening to the beginning of the show, Robert, but I talked about Halloween, and you should watch out for vampires. Yeah. But well, the whole mechanism of Halloween, when people dress up like monsters and have blood on their faces and all of that, they are tapping into the vampiric system of Halloween, right? Because they are, in a way, like if you look in a bigger spectrum of things, you can see that as like, okay, I'm going to overcome the fear of all of that and play with it. That's one way of seeing things. But the energy of those days is compromised already with the old system to suck people's energy. So you have to watch out during those days between October 31st and November 2nd, because there are lots of rituals being done during those days by people who practice different kinds of magic, and, and they do connect with beings that are negative and energy suckers. And the way that you can actually get out of that and watch for that, Robert, is by vibrating higher than that, laughing, and understanding that all of that has got a place on the universe to play out, but you are not part of it. And once you draw your boundary and you say the big word no, you are drawing the boundary, and these vampires from Halloween will not catch you. And also watch out for candies because sugar is another energy sucker. Did you know that? Because, well, I'm not saying about the sugar in general. It's the white refined sugar. The white refined sugar has been created, depleted of, uh, it is a carbon molecule that is saturated. So it's depleted of connections on the molecule to give you something. Instead of giving you something, it takes calcium from your body, from your cells, from your molecules. And that's why the white refined sugar, like most of the refined foods, it's a type of vampire. So watch out for sugars. What a perfect setup these creatures did. Celebrate Halloween dressing up as the most horrible and bloody creatures and give candies to children. It's amazing. Ay, ay. All right. So if you don't have any other questions, Miriam, Laura, Robert, I'm seeing here 11:11 on my screen. I don't know what that. Oh, okay. And I'm gonna wrap up for tonight. And I wanna also apologize for the time confusion I made with the other show that was supposed to be tonight, interviewing Lauren, because I made a mistake with the dates in the calendar. But we are going to do the show with Lauren this week. We're just waiting to set up the date, and the next live for sure is going to be on Thursday in Spanish, and we're going to have Sahadi back from Chile, and we're going to talk about some very nice things. So keep tuned if you speak Spanish. And next Sunday, we're going to have our guest, Tina Dubois, from the Metaphysical School. And she is going to share about the new things of the Metaphysical School and the master class coming. It's going to be very, 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 very interesting. Tune in next Sunday and watch out for surprises. I might pop in here out of announced time to share some messages if necessary, because we're going through very intense moments of change, and there are messages that need to be out there shared. So I might pop in sometimes. So if you subscribe and click the bell for getting notifications, you will get a notification from YouTube of the new videos, even if it's out of the scheduled one on Thursday or Sunday, and help the channel to grow by sharing and clicking like, commenting, all these beautiful things so that we can share balanced and harmony energy towards this network of beautiful people on earth that are expecting the new earth to manifest. All right. From my heart and from my soul, transvibrating with you to a better version of us. Thank you for listening and tuning in. And I gotta click a bunch of stop here, and stop here.